The following program is brought to you by Naleo TV, the people's platform.
Yeah, buddy.
Yes.
New show. How you like that intro?
I love it.
Okay.
Somebody put in some work, some off-season training.
There we go, man. It's the brand new 2025-26 NFL season.
Yeah.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda. All right. J.E. Orozco, I.B. he.
John Hendricks, back in action, back for more. Couldn't get rid of me. Re-signed a contract. No holdouts here.
Well, there you go, baby.
Yeah.
Our podcast, if you've tuned in for the first time, Coulda, Shoulda, Woulda, we delve into hindsight 2020, right? We always talk about Coulda, Shoulda, Woulda, right?
Yeah,
Logic
we do.
is optional,
Yes,
okay?
yes.
And remember this, no matter what, your team blew it at the end of it.
Except for one small group of you that turned out to be really, really correct. But,
Well, today it's all 32 teams are in camp now. And already, I hate to bring it up so early in the show, but the injury bug hitting some teams already, okay? Some hamstring pull for what?
Kenny Pickett.
Kenny Pickett. There
Kenny
you go.
Pickett.
That's it. He's the one.
Kenny Pickett.
Well, this is a wrong time to do with that many quarterbacks in camp.
Maybe one of the most interesting teams, undetermined, vying for that starting quarterback.
Cleveland
role.
Browns.
Lots of intrigue. Cleveland Browns, let's be clear. So for Pickett to go out with the hamstring, which again is one of those nagging injuries that you just don't know where it's going, really adds a lot of intrigue to that. With Joe Flacco sitting there, and of course the Shooter Sanders situation, and our own Dylan Gabriel waiting in the wings.
You know, we'll just pop right into that since we kind of morphed into it. But Joe Flacco, he makes no bones about it. Hey, I'm expecting to be the starting QB. Period.
He doesn't sign there to back up some young person that is not established or never played NFL before. So, no surprise there. And, we've talked a lot about Flacco over last year. And if you've watched this show before, we go back, take a look at some of the replays. We're fans of Joe Flacco. We respect what the man has done and continues to do at an advanced age in the NFL. Got a lot of advanced age quarterbacks out there. And
the one thing about him, he's got credentials. Playoff wins,
Super Bowl
champion as well, boy. So, and if you go backward in time to his inaugural seasons, I say the first three, he was with a team that was made up of defense, right?
Yes.
Ray Lewis and the rest of that defensive squad there. He pretty much, from some of the things that I've read, hey, I got there and I'm going like, I'm just listening and learning. I'm not trying to get into their little clique there. They're doing what they're doing. I'm here to work.
Clearly, it was a great fit at the time historically, and I'd argue, too, if you look back, he was not a game manager. He's more than just a game manager on a great defensive team with a great run game. So,
And then he did work elsewhere. They brought him into Cleveland, and I think he's going to continue there.
So this Pickett thing is early intrigue now for we're heading into this kind of into the real start of NFL season, which is the Hall of Fame game. That's if you want to look at that as a starting point, if you will. Although we always say there's no starting point. The Super Bowl happens, and then the next season starts like Monday, right? It's true.
That's pretty much it.
That's how we operate, right?
And we'll stick on the vein of the QBs, right, and the young QBs. One that's, hey, we're throwing you into the fire.
Yeah.
Cam Ward for Tennessee. They lose.
Levis. The Manny's guy.
He has an injured shoulder. He's gone.
Yeah. Clears the way.
You're our guy now.
Well, he was going to be their guy anyway, even though they did draft Levis, I believe, in the first or early second round. I'm so sorry. I'll look that up later for my own education. But his tenure there, his time there, his starts were more down than up. So, easy draft pick for them at number one. A lot of talk about Ward, how they're even there's comps to him being better prepared for the NFL than Jaden Daniels was at this time. That's a big statement to make. So they're very hard. They beating the Titans are very high on Ward. So what you really did with Levis going down is you lost somebody who you could consider to be an established, backup quarterback should the need arise. So Cam Ward, he's ready to go. With what around him, not a lot of expectations either. What's helped him, but yeah, he's their guy.
And then we look in the NFC South, the Saints trying to shore it up again. I don't look for them to have a very good year, but Tyler
Yeah, great. Well, you know what, Tyler? Make us find out how to say your name correctly by, first of all, winning that spot, which is wide open after Derek Carr retired.
They got
wide
him
open.
number one team reps right now.
It's wide open because Rattler, and he hasn't really produced. There's another guy there that people
I had
like.
better expectations for Rattler.
We
myself.
all did. We all did. Rattler at one point in time was Caleb Williams. He was, Burrow. He was like the number one prospect in college, soon to be a number one overall pick at quarterback. Those things didn't pan out. But point being is it's wide open. It's kind of there for Tyler Show.
We'll go with Show.
You know what? Again, it's his job. Get out there on the field. Make good things happen. We will quickly learn how to say your name correctly. And being good stewards of NFL journalism, we will talk about you. Good or bad, but more like we like to do it under good circumstances, exceeding expectations.
In the vein with quarterback, new is old by way of Sam Darnold.
Okay.
Moving from Minnesota over to Seattle. Pittsburgh, we got Russell Wilson.
Going over.
Going on over, right? Justin Fields, the same kind of thing. Again, so they're just kind of moving places there. Seattle sends Geno to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So, again, new but old kind of thing. And, man, the expectations, especially for Seattle, they're expecting quite a bit.
From what I've viewed recently, and this is all, kind of internal perspectives. You watch what's going on, you read things here and there. I would say of all of those four situations you just mentioned, the lowest expectations are on Russell Wilson and New York, believe it or not. Because Seattle has some established players that had a pretty good year there. Darnold had a really, really good year, minus the biggest moments, which, okay. There's that there. Geno, of course, has a track record of, huge numbers last year, more than 4,000 yards, lots of touchdowns, but 15 interceptions, which can slow you down. But, they got Jonty. Has anybody seen this guy Jonty out there in training camp?
I have yet to see anything.
This looks like the person you'd least like to tackle in the world.
Big.
Oh, my gosh. Not just big, but the power and the size of this guy. So, anyway, they got that going for them, too.
Let me interrupt you there, okay?
Please. Step
because
back
when
a
I
second.
watched his highlights from college.
Boise State.
And in my head, I'm going like, well, you're playing against Big 12. You're playing against, okay. Yeah. But he was shunning tackles left and right, boy. They were not tackling. One person is not tackling that kid.
We'll see what happens.
The NFL.
When you mix the combination of speed, power, and agility together, I think there's something super special there. Obviously the Raiders agree. They took him very hard, made him a very big part of what they're doing going forward, and then maybe not knowing what was happening with Christian Wilkins. They need a lot of help on defense. They need somebody to tandem up with Max Crosby to formidable on defense. They picked a running back really high, which hadn't happened in a long time. Credit people like Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs for bringing the running back position back into prominence.
And for somebody like Geno, that's what you want. Got to have me a running game boy to help me out, boy.
As being pointed out by a lot of people, what appear to be very pass-happy, teams with these very high-quality offensive coordinators for head coaches like, Matt LaFleur, you got, down in Los Angeles, McVay. Those teams actually run the ball a lot. It just doesn't seem that way. But when you look at the numbers, they run the ball a lot. So absolutely correct. If the Raiders want to have a formidable passing attack with Bowers and Geno Smith at the helm there, they need Jonty to produce immediately. And the expectation is that he will. So my point going back to that is, of all of those teams you just mentioned with those new quarterbacks in there that are not new quarterbacks, including the Steelers, I think the team is being looked at the least to be meaningful or do anything are the Giants with Wilson, but you never know.
Okay, and then
I'm interested.
Back to
I'm interested, of course.
Old becoming new. I think I'm getting it all mixed up, but the main one is Aaron Rodgers.
Sure. Yeah. Finally.
Now,
Finally.
to me, I don't know. Just reading different quotes from him, he sounds like a totally different Aaron Rodgers because he got married.
Supposedly to somebody we'll never know. And yeah,
Brittany is the name of her.
Oh, is it?
We haven't seen her, but he talks about how man, when it just changes your life when you find that special someone and you know that they're for you. I'm reading it. I'm going, this don't sound like Aaron Rodgers, but they say he's pretty calm. And then the first pass play of the practice. And again, remember, it's practice. So if you're going to mess up in practice, okay?
Yeah.
His first pass to DK Metcalf, intercepted.
Sure.
And again, while you want to read too much into it, it just omens in my head.
Yeah, I think that Mike Tomlin is hoping he's the one, not Brittany, whomever, that can change Aaron Rodgers' life for the better, because recently he hasn't been that big of a factor in putting together big seasons and big wins, especially in the playoffs. So Mike Tomlin's hoping he's the one that can turn Aaron around and bring something new, because it looks like the other elements are there. I'm concerned with the running game and with the Steelers, too. As we just said, all the great quarterbacks, right, and all the successful ones, and I'm sure we might talk about, a little bit about the Eagles and how that pans out. They don't do it without a great running game. So that's going to be the question mark there. And, of course, they lost Pickens to the greatest NFL franchise ever.
We'll see what happens there. And, again, kudos to Aaron Rodgers. He's got the experience. That's one thing. He's a veteran. He's not going to put a whole lot of weight into a lot of things until the actual season starts.
The reason that we sit here and do this show, of course, is for all of you out that are willing to tolerate it and watch it and enjoy it. It's not what we know about the NFL.
Right.
It's what we don't know that it's so darn exciting. All of these question marks that don't get answered on one day or 1 week, but over the course of 17 games and then into the postseason, that's what makes the NFL as great as it is, that we're willing to talk about these things so far in advance as they develop. I mean, the storylines, just those things you just mentioned right now, the intrigue, I love it. I just love it.
They're everywhere. It doesn't matter where you turn, you can find coaches.
Yeah.
We hop into coaches. You got some brand new coaches, and you got some coaches who, well, you better make it happen this year, or you're gone, man.
But by and large, the NFL is an all or nothing league. Sure, if you're a fan of a certain team and you make the playoffs, you win a few games. Let's use the Commanders as an example. On the upswing, surprising season, win a few games, but you lost. You lost to the Eagles badly, and the Eagles went on to win. There's only one. The NFL is a winner-take-all league. That being said, so only one fan base every year is going to feel that sense of true fulfillment, and it's more of a sense of relief that it gets done than winning, but it doesn't matter. We're all still just fully engaged, because even if your team isn't that team, there's so much to enjoy, watch, and find out about. And it's a test every week. It's a test you have to pass, let alone be willing to take for all of these teams and all these situations, all these guys putting their reputations on the line. Rodgers, Wilson, Geno Smith moving over. If Darnold flops in Seattle, holy cow. I mean, that's just, and totally possible, too. Totally possible that he could flop there. But all these things every week coming out, I can't wait. I mean, you can feel my sense of excitement, and yours too. Yeah.
I mean, you read all those storylines. I look at New England, the Patriots, Vrabel.
Boom.
Wow, man, Drake May. Okay, had a pretty good year last year considering everything that was going on. Well, here he is. They're expecting big things from that Patriot team this year.
Not just they, but the only intelligence greater than yours or I, artificial intelligence, has them picked to make a 9-8 season, a big turnaround. Maybe that's not good enough for the tournament, but that's a big turnaround. And if Chat GPT, no brand names, says 9-8, I mean, there's something there. And they're looking at what you talked about, coaching change, of course. Actually making some free agency moves that might not be major big splash, but will contribute to a more stable situation where they can win those close games, and expecting a big year from Drake May. I mean, in that class of 6 quarterbacks drafted in the first 12 picks that will go down in history, and watching these guys develop, expecting a lot out of him as a number 3 quarterback picked, I should say.
And there's nothing like that, to have that optimism going into the season for your team when you're reading it and you're seeing it. Well, you get really worked up. Another team in that vein, Detroit Lions, okay?
Okay.
They have a brand new head coach, OC, okay? Ben Johnson. He had 2 years.
In the Bears.
I'm sorry, the Bears.
Correct.
He came from Detroit. My bad. But he had 2 years. They wanted him 2 years ago.
Really?
Now I'm staying. I'm make this Super Bowl
Makes
run.
sense. Yeah.
Then last year, still with the team, but finally he says, "Okay, it's time for me to move on." He goes to Chicago.
Yeah.
Immediately, I think it's Thune. I can't remember the lineman, but let me find a way to get this quarterback to stand up and throw the ball.
Yeah. And not run for his life.
They're expecting huge things from him as well.
They're again, going back to one of the most intriguing things, the week-to-week test, and also, let's put it this way, too. I don't know if you ever expected this, he being Caleb Williams. He's looking up at Jaden Daniels. And I'm sorry, small sample size. It's one season, but he's looking way up at Jaden Daniels. And there's the game within the game. There's competitions within the competition. Again, going back to that draft class, Michael Penix is going to be coming out too.
Yep.
And he's already made some statements about how, as far as he's concerned, they should be the number 1 offense in the league, not just their conference. I love the confidence.
Wow. Yeah.
But yeah,
that's what you want him to be saying, though.
We all get the comfort of watching these things play out from the safety of our own homes or wherever we may be, perhaps a small drinking establishment somewhere, some of that nature. But to see these things play out and all the pressure on Caleb Williams, how is he going to handle it? Because as we, if you've ever played golf before, your swing can be fine, everything mechanically be fine. If your head ain't right, you ain't going nowhere that day or anywhere in the future. I think no different, maybe even more so, especially at the quarterback position. How's your head going? How's your head game going? Are you feeling good? Are you feeling confident about the plays? Is your mental health well, as far as what you need to do every week to be prepared, and how you're gelling with your teammates? And that's the questions that we're going to see coming, answered a lot of these ways. And Caleb Williams, no bigger test than for him. Everything's in front of him. Super tough division to play in, though, obviously. The aforementioned Lions, where Ben Johnson came from, Green Bay, not too bad either, not too shabby. Their AI actually predicts Green Bay to win the division, partially because of the losses of both Aaron Glenn and Johnson from the Lions. Maybe a little regression. Yeah.
I would think so. That's the point I was just going to make, man. Losing 2, man, your OC and your DC.
We both have talked about coordinator positions, and we agree. And it's not a big leap, but they matter. They definitely matter. And we've talked about teams that don't appear to have any, and how that might affect their ability to be successful. If you don't have a prominent coordinator on offense and or defense, you're not hearing about this person, the success they're having, and of course how that translates statistically on the field and into wins. It doesn't seem you have a complete team if you don't have big name, or at least people out on the rise of these coordinator positions. Hence the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, those coordinator positions, it has to be at least 2 at a minimum, but at least 3 years for that defense to gel with the type of defense that this defensive coordinator is running, okay? 3-4, 4-3, whatever it may be.
Right.
And all the little other nuances that come along with it.
Yeah.
They've got to have the reps in order to finally become what he's expecting them
to meet their ideal, their highest potential, if you will, within those schemes that you mentioned before, with the players they draft, free agency, players developing, and also working around injuries, which it's the biggest thing. And I just point that out too, is like everything we talk about, which is, kind of scary, but it's a fact, which makes it even more interesting in a way too. Everything we talk about, all of the potentials, all the storylines are really just a second away from changing due to injury to one or more players. And you think, well, the NFL may be least subject to that with 52 players on the roster, next man up. But as we all know, injuries matter, and they could happen at any second. It doesn't mean in a game, in a preseason game. It could be, in drills, all these, there's so many non-contact injuries happening now. And going back to that too, I'm going to throw this out there because AI is interesting, but they have the Commanders falling to 6-10. Why?
6-10.
6-10. And again, this is just a random sidebar, but I have a theory on that too. Now they did make it to the conference championship. I mean, they did make it to that game by beating the Lions badly. And as much as I really wasn't I'm pretty outspoken critic of the Lions and not a lover of the Lions style or anything about them, I will acknowledge that they were severely depleted at the end of the year when it came to we're talking about injuries again, not just Hutchinson. I mean, one of the first plays of the game, one of their premier cornerback goes out with an arm injury. They don't have him, for the rest of the game. Robinson, I believe was his name, Meek Robinson, something of that nature, excuse me. But these things matter. And that might be part of when you're grading the Commanders coming in, just expecting them to get better. Hey, if everybody got better every year, we wouldn't know. There's always regression. So, again, another storyline to follow there.
Wow, man. It's something to see. And when we look at, I know we're kind of bouncing around,
We are.
but
Bouncing ball.
it's because there's so much to talk about.
It is hard to keep it all organized and filed correctly. Excuse us.
One of the ones I've got here that
What'd you jot
I
down?
pinned down to say, hey, let's talk about this. Surprise teams that are maybe on the cusp of making some moves. You just mentioned 9 and 8. Okay, might get them into the playoffs, maybe, but
usually
it's
need
AFC.
at least 10 wins these days with a 17-game win schedule.
Well, my breakout team this year, because it's a make or break year,
Yes, sir.
is one Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals.
I think
9 and 8 last year.
Hovering around, trying to
Beating some good teams, losing to some not so good teams.
trying to sneak into a division conference or a division championship by taking, by surpassing, I should say, the Niners and the Rams. Couldn't quite get it done, but they were there for a lot of the season, surprisingly. Yeah.
Who comes to mind for you?
Well, wait, before you go on, when you say surprising, do you have any sense of what that means as far as success for them? Do you mean like winning the division, winning a playoff game, getting to the playoffs? Like, what does that look
getting
like?
to the playoffs,
Getting
and
to the
winning
playoffs.
the playoff game,
Winning a playoff game,
be it wild card or whatever.
Okay. Not necessarily as a division winner. Maybe the Rams or Niners, but they're still there. I think that would be somewhat of a surprise, although there's a lot to like about what they did in free agency.
Got the running back Connors,
the great McBride at tight. They got a lot of weapons there. They had a great draft pick last year. A team that might jump forward and do things we didn't see. I don't know how big of a surprise, but I'm going to go with Jacksonville.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jacksonville. You have a lot of faith in Trevor.
I don't, and that's the surprise. I would be surprised. I'll be surprised. But that's what it all hinges on. We'll see the best Trevor Lawrence we can see. They have really, really good options at running back and receiver. And then I think that they've always had an ability to play good defense. Josh Hines Allen, not Josh Allen, is a big-time player. And for me, this is all about their two-way player that they've got coming from Travis Hunter. So I don't know much of a surprise, but potentially to play really great on offense and also contribute on defense or vice versa, whichever way it's weighted. Really could shift things for them to where they pick up wins they couldn't get last year. And I'll be pulling for that to happen, especially for Trevor Lawrence. Seems like a nice guy. He's getting busted up a lot. Would be nice for him to have a bounce back here. But I'll take the Jaguars in the American Football Conference as my surprise team of the year so far.
And again, we touched on them a little bit. Another team that I thought was Chicago. We touched on them a little bit, but I think they're a team that's with the new coach, and the additions that he's made.
Absolutely.
They've got a good team. They should have gone a little farther than they did last year, but that's another team that I'm looking at. And then one that I'll just go ahead and pop it in here. The Dallas Cowboys. What's your quick feeling on them?
I think I feel better this time of the year about the Cowboys than I did at this point in the time last year before heading into the 2024-25 season. I feel better. I wish we picked up a running back from Denver that has some proven success. I would love to have somebody like Saquon Barkley or Derrick Henry or even Jonty or one of the premier guys that picked up in the draft to really help out Dak a lot. I think that's just the part of the equation that we've been missing more than anything else, that it actually has affected our defense too, which isn't as good as it should be, minus the injuries. I always believe a great running game really benefits your defense, because a great running game keeps the sticks moving, time of possession. A rested defense is always a better defense, both statistically and in helping you win games. So I'm concerned there. But there's been some pretty good moves made by the Cowboys. No thanks to Jerry Jones, I'm sure, who I understand less and less the more he talks. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's just you have to feel better. You'd like to see Dak play 17 games with this offense, with a healthy CeeDee Lamb, a Pickens that is there, that is engaged and playing as hard as he can, and buying in and supporting his teammates, not just himself. And there to see where we go with a quote-unquote healthy defense, with a newly invigorated Micah Parsons coming off his contract signing, which will happen anytime soon. Because Jerry will cave in, as he always would.
You spoke about how you felt, and I agree with that 100%. Whoa. Because a year ago, before the Schottenheimer era,
the Schottenheimer era,
it was the Mike McCarthy era, okay? And that last season, it wasn't about how good of a team are we going to have there. It was, well, is Mike McCarthy going to get re-signed? Or are they going to I mean, what kind of way to go into the season wondering if your head coach, well, what kind of decisions is he making? Is he making it for the best team, or, hey, I got to take a chance here because I need to win this? It just, for me, I was like, wow, I cannot wait to. Finally, he made the decision to go to Schottenheimer. Schottenheimer comes in, tries to invigorate. I say try. He is trying to invigorate this team with, from what I'm reading and what I'm seeing, is we're a team. He's letting the guys go out to restaurants and such to eat together. They go fishing together. They do a lot of ping pong games inside the locker room and such.
Competition.
Card games. He wants them to know each other, to be more like a family. Well, I want you to go out and enjoy things together, go to the movies and that kind of thing. But the biggest thing for me is, Schottenheimer saying, it's my first year. I got to make it happen, because already people are saying, I'm one and done.
Wow. Yeah, placeholder. But he's risen to that top spot. I don't know if I factor that much into my expectations, but I'm glad you brought that up. I think just McCarthy not being there, regardless who is the HC, opens things up a little bit, because we were just on a rinse-repeat kind of thing.
Right.
Very successful regular seasons, over and over and over again. You get to the playoffs, and then you just flush it in the first quarter. Something's got to change. And a lot of times, no matter what the responsibility level is, it just got to come from the top. It just has to change regardless.
One thing I'm going to be anxious to see in the preseason here, because they're doing it in practice already, is motion, which the Cowboys rarely did. You remember for Miami, Tariq Hill?
I do.
Would go in motion then make it down and then head upfield, at the last second,
Yeah.
They're incorporating that with CeeDee Lamb.
That seems reasonable. I think CeeDee can pull it off, where you run about 57 yards before the ball's even snapped, back in the backfield, and kind of create some distractions and confusion. I like that. Looking for a big year from CeeDee and George Pickens.
Well, look, we got so much to talk about. We don't even get half of the stuff that we wanted to talk about.
We didn't. Yeah, that's fine.
New rules and stuff. Tush Push, by the way, is back, but we'll talk about that on a new show there.
Yeah, we will.
Don't forget now, sports@naleo.tv.
Yeah.
Questions, comments, or suggestions, whatever it may be. We're anxious to hear from you, and I'll give you a tease for the next show. We'll be talking Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Repeat? ? All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of Coulda, Shoulda, Woulda. J.E. Orozco.
John Henricks, yes.
Until we see you again via the podcast, we bid you a fond aloha.
Ahui ho.